Hello and welcome to Warframe. My name is Todd, also known as Major Mac, and this is of course Warframe. Last time we left off, we were completing 15 Waves to Stolfer as our buddy here, Limbo. I just wanted to come back in and show you off this lovely message that he decided to give us, so I pretty much don't have to describe this. You can read from here. There was a new Warframe introduced. I'm not going to pronounce his name because there's been a lot of discussion about how you should pronounce his name, and a lot of people apparently fucked it up, or specifically DE themselves decided to mess it up. So I don't know the proper pronunciation, so I'm not going to try. We'll just call him Railgun for now. So our good buddy Railgun has been introduced, and yeah. So you can see they've also introduced some more disruption missions, which are unlocked later on. We'll get to those eventually, hopefully. But yeah, so they give us these nice little messages
Operator,
like that.
You have returned.
And of course we get our
has received
things.
messages for the operator.
And we get Harmony Ribbon. And there you go. So, Thermia Fractures are back. Night Waves progressing as normal. Valkyr and Saren Prime Vault are now available, so if those are Warframes you wanted to get your hands on, you can get your hands on them now. My major thing is we're going to swap over to our good buddy Oberon here. And we're going to be doing some interesting stuff this time around. We're going to be focusing on leveling up Oberon. And let me just double check on one thing real quick.
Excellent armaments,
That we
operator.
have enough
Please return
slots
covered in blood. Safe and sound.
for what we need. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. It's going to be rather rough, though, without any armor. Perfect, we can fit the armor. That's what we need. Armor, vitality, and we should be good to go. Because we're going to be heading straight into the Orokin Derelict. Now that we've completed one of our objectives, of course, on Stolfer, the only other objectives we have is opening some relics, Neo Void relics, of course, and defeating Lephantis on the Derelict. So to defeat Lephantis on the Derelict, a couple things need to be purchased. I think we've already purchased some of the keys. Let's see, keys. Yes, we've already purchased some of the keys. We've purchased some We've purchased an Orokin Derelict capture. We've purchased an Orokin Derelict defense. And once we get enough Lephantis nav coordinates, we can fight Lephantis, and that'll be the end of the Orokin Derelict fun times. Now, the only way to get Lephantis nav coordinates is to do missions on the Orokin Derelict, so we must be doing either the defense or a Derelict capture. We're going to go with capture just because that's a little bit easier for us. So we'll start crafting up that key. It should also be noted that to craft Derelict keys, you must have nav coordinates, or just like a random drop that you can get every now and then. Not massively hard to get your hands on, but if you use them all up, that's the end of it. You can't access the Derelict without having a key, so that's definitely something to note. We only need 4 Derelict keys to fight Lephantis, though I don't think we'll be tackling him as a level 0 Oberon. That would be pretty much suicide, so our major goal will be to do Orokin Derelict capture and level up our Oberon. So hopefully
Tenno, the balance of
we can
power continues to shift.
get to that
Navigation is
point.
marked with new
So I'm mostly
invasions.
just going to go into the Orokin Derelict capture and show that off. I also will talk a little bit about the keys, specifically the vault keys that you can get. This is something I talked about previously. You must be unknown error. That was weird. Never seen that before. That's different. I've never seen that before. Warframe. It's free of bugs. Not. Anyway, so now we can access the Orokin Derelict. On the Orokin Derelict, it should be noted that only the people you have in your party when you go into it will be there. Meaning that if you don't have anyone in your party, when you go into the Orokin Derelict, you won't get anyone in your party. It does not automatically match you with other players that are already in the Derelict, so that's just something to be aware of. We're going in this alone. So, especially when dealing with Lephantis, it's something massively important to note that you will be alone. Not that we're going to have too many problems with that, though, right? I wouldn't imagine. I think we'll be fine. Fine enough. Do I sound nervous? I don't sound nervous. Okay, let's go in here. Honestly, I think I'm just a little bit antsy that we're taking a level 0 Operon in, but I think we're going to be okay.
You are here on a capture mission. You must find, capture, and extract our
So,
target.
if searching for any sort of things you can find in the derelict, you want to open any sort of containers that you can find, and it sounds like I can hear something in my room right now. I'm not sure if that'll come up on video. Hopefully it won't. It sounds kind of annoying. But yeah, we're going to open up any containers that we find. We're going to go deal with anything like that. And we're going to try and make sure that we don't have any, like, leftover loot that we could have gotten.
We cannot let our target
As
know
any
we're
of these
here.
containers
Track
can
them down
have
quickly.
Lephantis nav coordinates, and our enemies can as well, so we'll be focusing on trying to kill any enemies that we run across. That's, of course, just the area we're just in. Let's head over here. Is there anything over here? Enemy here. A couple enemies over here. So I don't think we'll get enough levels to get very far right away. Oberon's first ability is Smite. Not massively useful as an actual damage ability, but it does have a chance to proc Radiation, which Radiation's fantastically useful for crowd controlling the enemies, as it will cause enemies to turn on each other, and enemies have a tendency to focus on the nearest thing to themselves. So that becomes a whole thing. Effectively, it allows you to kind of prevent the enemies from attacking you right away. They'll attack the mind-controlled enemies first, which slows them down massively, which is a good thing. It's what you want. You don't want the enemies to attack you when dealing with crowd control situations. So on the Orokin Derelict, infested are the main enemy,
Target located.
though
Bring
there
them in.
is Corpus when we're doing capture, as there is no such thing as an infested, at least not to my knowledge, an infested capture target. We're going to swap to our Furus here and try and burn him down. We should be able to get him through his shield fairly easy. Just don't want to let him kill us. Because he probably could actually fairly easily. Those shotguns are pretty dangerous. That was unfortunate. Let's kill him. And pick this guy up while we're still invincible. I was kind of expecting a death or two
Mission complete.
based on
The
just being
captive has been
low
escorted
life
to the
or low
extraction point. Well
level.
done. That was a juggernaut. They were lured out by the death of
Hopefully
infested.
we don't have
And it
too
should
many
go
of those.
away or amp up the fight to draw it out.
I'm hoping anyway. We'll see. Like I said, I'm just trying to clear out a lot of enemies, get a lot of experience, open any containers we might find. Getting some more nanospores is probably not a bad idea anyway. And all these containers might have something good. Plus, if we can find a vault, that would be awesome. As, well, this isn't the exact type of vault I was referring to, but this is a type of vault.
The juggernaut has moved on.
This is
it's
a,
safe to proceed.
This would be similar to one of the Orokin, oh dear, instantly dead. One of the Orokin relic vaults that you'd find for Iodine treasures. The ones that Maru would send you after. Yeah, when you're not going after Iodine treasures, it's only like small loot caches that you can really get from these. So it's probably not massively useful for us, except for we are trying to get nav coordinates, so that is a whole thing. Just run over there, grab that, jump over here, and we're through. So yeah, that is our loot caches here. I think we're good overall. Let's see, have we gotten any... Oh, that's the wrong button. Here we go. Have we gotten any nav coordinates? No, we have not. I may have to farm the nav coordinates off camera, but I did want to just show that that's kind of how we do the Orokin Derelict, as I've shown previously. But our major thing is that if we're farming for the nav coordinates, we'll be killing enemies and opening containers. It might take a while for you to get enough nav coordinates. That's just something to be aware of. Ooh, there's a lot of enemies here. Let's smite a couple of them. Yeah. Like I said, smite isn't massively useful for actually killing enemies, but it's great for crowd controlling them. Later on we'll get some better abilities on our Oberon, which will make more sense as to why Oberon's such a good frame. Ah, we got a nav coordinate, so that's not too bad. Oh, another nav coordinate. See, the chance of getting nav coordinate is real strange sometimes. First we don't get any, and we just get a bunch of them in a row. How many did we manage to get our hands on? 3. So yeah, that's Lephantis nav coordinates for you. Such a random thing. Nav coordinates themselves are fairly similar in that regard. Lephantis nav coordinates do have a much higher chance of dropping though, so at least there is that. Not as random. Run enough Derelict and you'll definitely get enough to run Lephantis a good amount of times. Which is good because Lephantis also has a chance to drop one of the most useful frames for farming. And that would be a little bit of lag there. That would be Necros. Or Necros, however you pronounce his name. Necros, which is how I pronounce his name. His whole thing is that he desecrates the dead, and he deals with like being somewhat of a necromancer in Warframe, if there was such a thing. He summons phantom copies of killed enemies, and desecrates the dead corpses in the map to spawn more items, which is massively useful for farming specific items. And we might be getting our hands on Necros eventually, but we might not. We'll see. I don't think we actually need him, and I'd kind of only like to do what is necessary on this account, as leveling it up any more than necessary would be kind of a waste. We're just trying to get to like close enough to the end game that we can swap over. Kind of use the other account that I've built up a little bit better. One of these days. Alright, so let's see. I could spend a lot of time opening more containers. Yeah, might as well. Might as well spend a little bit of the extra time opening up some containers, getting a feel for things. I still want to see if I can, by chance, find one of those vaults. I don't think I will be able to, but we can hope, right? The vaults are usually not super well hidden, but well enough hidden that it's quite difficult to find them most of the time. They're usually in a side path, or if you're lucky along the main path, usually in a side path. Effectively in between episodes, I'll hopefully have enough time to farm up our Oberon a little bit, get the Lephantis nav coordinates, and I'm hoping to tackle Lephantis with a rank 30 Oberon. That way we can show him what's for, and you can kind of see how good Oberon is at surviving. Very similar to Rhino in that regard, but Oberon's ability to sustain himself is far better than Rhino's. That kind of applies to his team as well, because Oberon's ability kind of applies not just to himself, but to his team. Which is kind of why Oberon is good in that regard. Let's murder some of these enemies. Come in here. No, don't beat me to death, please. I ain't got time for that. Alright, well there's the exit. Didn't find the vault, which I'm kind of sad we didn't. How much time do we have? We have enough time. So I did talk previously about vault keys and the vault doors and whatnot. You can only get the vault keys if you're a part of a clan, and your clan has research stuff. They do give corrupted mods though, and corrupted mods can now be attained by a single person. You can now equip as many keys as you want to your Warframe. That used to not be the case. So you can open a vault by yourself by just having all 4 keys attached. Keys, however, have a massive downside to their usage. Hold on a second, let me check my map here. The massive downside to their usage is the fact that when equipped with a key, you take on a massive debuff to your Warframe. One of the keys is a movement speed debuff, one of the keys is a health debuff, one of the keys is a shield debuff, and the last key is a damage debuff. So when you have all 4 keys equipped, as you can imagine, their effects make you very weak. And as a result, it is a situation where it is often honestly better to farm vaults in a group, because it's easier. However, it's not impossible to do it now by yourself. I would highly recommend a Rhino if you were going to do it by yourself. Oh, excuse me. As I think Rhino is a preferred Warframe. Also, Inaros is another good Warframe. That's not the right kind of vault. What's over here? There's a room with a bunch of containers, but no vault. So corrupted mods, the whole major thing about corrupted mods, and I'm sorry if the map is bugging you guys, it's kind of bugging me right now too. Let's get rid of that. The whole thing about corrupted mods is that they reduce one attribute to increase another attribute. Now for weapons, this is massively useful, as having well-rounded weapons is the preferred. But for Warframes, it's actually quite good, as having a reduction of certain stats and improvements of other stats is actually quite good on Warframes, and it's the preferred method in some, I don't know what that thing is. Zealot Baptizer. Interesting. I have no idea what this thing is. Can I hit it with my operator? It doesn't look like I can hit it with my operator. I don't know what it is, and I can't seem to hit it. So I guess we're just gonna leave. Enough. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave. I don't know what these things are. Oh, ow. Owie. Are these a part of the, like, the new infested things? I haven't seen those before. I haven't really been playing as the infested event's been going on, so I'm assuming they're a part of the infested event. They hit really hard, though. Probably very similar to the escaped prisoners, the last event. Yeah, I'm not down to deal with them, though. They look bad. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So for some Warframes, it's good to have reductions of abilities. A prime example of that I can think of off the top of my head would be Nova. Nova's skill set massively suits corrupted mods, as she can become Speedva, which is effectively a specific build for her, using the corrupted mods. So it's something to think about, especially now that you're kind of coming towards the end game, if you're at this point in the game. Is looking up specific builds and some cool things that some players have created. Definitely something to think about. So, in between parts, like I said, I will focus on farming up the last few Lephantis coordinates and leveling up our good boy Oberon here. We're going to be Goat Boy for some time. Like I said, I quite like Oberon, and his playstyle really suits me, because he's a good combination of defense and offense. So, yeah, we'll be playing him mostly. But otherwise, until next time, when we hopefully have all we need to fight Lephantis. Goodbye.